What's going on, guys, and welcome back to FBA Capital. And today I'm going to be bringing you guys another weekly market breakdown on both the US30 and NAS100. So let's get right on into the video. So first things first, we're going to start off on the higher time frames on NAS100. So we're going to go all the way to the weekly time frame. So first thing that you guys would notice is that we've been basically bearish as hell all week. That's as easy as I can say it, but I just want you guys to pay attention to how we are closing. So even though we did come down, clear these lows, and tap into a higher time frame order block, such as this right here, tapped into this higher time frame order block, and if you even go to the monthly, you can even refine it a little bit even lower to this monthly order block POI point of interest area. So now when we go back to the weekly, you can see the precision that it had. And mind you, once we cleared this low, we came down, tapped into it, and then from here we've been premeditated, just bullish as hell. So now if we take our fib from that high to this low, you can see we're even holding above this 70.50% and 79%, and we're trading just below the 62%. So what does that tell us? It shows us that there's a willingness for price to potentially want to come a little bit higher. So overall, my goal for the week is for price to be bullish. That's ideally what I would want to see, but until we see some daily close candles a little bit more bearish, I'm going to stick to my bullish bias, and I'm ideally going to be looking for price to come all the way back up to at least 1557. So now let's come down to the daily time frame. You see that the last few days have been little dojis, but the last day has been a previous bullish day. So ideally I'm going to be looking for a run of this high coming into early in the week, if not maybe towards the end of the week. But I would ideally want to see what levels is 14,636 targeted sometime soon, early on in the week, because I'm bullish overall. So that's something, like I said, I'm going to be keeping in mind. We are overall keeping this bullish pressure from 14,000, so we're staying above 14,000. As long as we can stay above 14,000, I think there's a high probability chance that we're going to make our way to 15,000, which is right up here. And then if we from here potentially we can get to 16,000 maybe next week. I don't think we'll get there this week, but you never know. At the end of the day, anything can happen. Our job as traders is to just make sure we can manage risk so that we can take advantage of the opportunities when they come to us. So this is my higher time frame analysis on NAS100. Now let's move on to US30. So US30 is more than likely going to be a very similar thing. As you can see, price came down. Did it clear this low? It didn't clear this low, but it made it equal low. So that is potential liquidity that price is more than likely going to want to target, potentially coming into next week, this week. But overall, I just want you guys to pay attention to how price is still remaining bullish, just like it is on NAS100. So what is it doing? It came into this weekly or bullish order block that has been respected multiple times, and we're slowly closing above it. So ideally, what level are we at around here? As long as we can stay above 34,000 coming into this week, I think there's a high chance that US30 is also going to have this push to the top side. And where am I going to be looking for potential retracement into? This area right up here. I would look for this gap to potentially be filled, because I do know that we are in this overall bearish market structure, because we did clear this high and then came lower. So I know that there's a chance that once price has this retracement, it could potentially keep coming lower, because at the end of the day, if we look at it on a monthly basis, everything is pretty bearish. We are rejecting, so that's why I am bullish. But at the end of the day, you never really know what's going to happen. So ideally, weekly target is going to be around 35,684 for the weekly. Now let's come down to the daily time frame. We're looking at very similar things to NAS. Everything is more than likely going to be bullish, because the last previous days have been bullish, all from rejecting this 34,000 area. You can see the wicks around this area, and you can see that we cleared multiple lows from this area. So we cleared the sell side liquidity from this low, sell side liquidity from this low, and then we came very close to clearing the sell side liquidity below this low, but we never really targeted. We ended up just getting equal lows. So more than likely, potentially something that could happen is something I'm going to be waiting for. Also, I'm going to keep my fib drawn from this high to this low, because just how this cleared the liquidity here, this did up here also. So there is a chance that once price comes up and retraces, it can continue this overall trend to the downside. And if you look at where this price is also, 35,684, this is also in confluence with the 62% of that fib also. So there's multiple confluence here. And even if you potentially go to weekly time frame, you see that there's little breaker blocks and stuff in there also, but that's not what I'm here for. I'm just overall giving you guys what I'm expecting for this week, my overall directional bias on the weekly time frame. So that's what it's going to do. I'm primarily going to be bullish on both of these pairs. So now let's get on into the intraday basis of it all. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mark up previous day's low and previous day's high, because if I know I'm bullish, I'm more than likely going to be looking for price to run the previous day's high. So this previous day's low down there, I'm more than likely don't want to see that get traded into because I'm overall bullish. But at the end of the day, like I always say, we never know what's gonna happen. We could just take our best analysis. Next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mark up the previous Asian session from, I'm pretty sure this is Thursday's Asian session, anticipating a potential retracement. Now, why am I going to be anticipating a retracement? Because for one, if I'm bullish, I know price is more than likely not going to just have a small retracement and could just continue moving bullish. Even though it very likely could, that is not something I would personally want to take a trade on, if that makes sense. So now that we have, let me get this Asian session range perfectly right in here. Now that we have the Asian session range, we can anticipate a potential retracement of some sort into this specific area. Now, where are we going to draw our fib from? We can draw our fib from this previous day's low to this previous day's high. And also, let's get the continuation level on here also, because just like that, you can see that this continuation level is very close in confluence to this Asian session high. And then if you also look right here, the 62% is very close to confluence to the Asian session low. I am keeping in mind that we do have these lows here, that if we clear these lows, there is a chance that we could potentially have that move to the top side. Now let's look at where we are price wise. We have 14,000 right down here, 14,200, and then we have right up here, let me move this out the way, 14,500. So these are the main big figure levels in and around price action as of right now. So where would price likely come to? In my opinion, 14,200 is looking like a pretty good area for price to potentially have that move to. Now let me show you. I drew my fib from here to here because this is currently the range price has made, and I'm just gonna wait because price could potentially come a little bit higher, and I'm gonna have to redo the fib. But if just from right now before the market opens, I'm anticipating price potentially have a move to 14,200. That is going to be my ideal area. Why? Because we have the 38.20% confluence along with the previous Asian session high, along with 14,200 big figure level. And we are in a very strong trend. Like I said, due to the higher time frames, we are in a very high trend. So if we can have this retracement potentially, I'm also keeping in mind that we are in this area right here where prices has a chance of running, just having this reaction. Why? Because this is the last up candle before this down move right here. So there is a chance that price could have this reaction. And you can already see how price is respecting this area. We're slowly losing that momentum as we came into it. So something I'm anticipating is price to have this retracement to 14,200. To then ideally see price continue going higher, making higher prices going into the week. That's ideally what I want to see happen on NAS100. So without that further ado, let's move on to US30. And it's more than likely going to be a very similar setup. So I'm going to do the same exact process. What's going on, guys? So before you keep on watching the video, I just wanted to tell you guys about this opportunity that I have for you guys. So as of recently, I have been getting a lot of questions and comments and concerns about whether or not I do one-on-one mentorship. I personally do not do one-on-one mentorship, but I do have mentorship now, which I decided because you guys have been asking for it for a while now. So what will I be providing? I will be providing daily live stream access and mentorship every single day, where I will teach you everything that I know and I will guide you from zero to hero. And along with that, I will be giving you live trade analysis, and you will know all of my trades taken live real time. So with that being said, the price of it right now is $100 a month, but the price is not going to be like that for long. After the first 100 people join, I will be having the price go up. So make sure you take advantage while you can. And now you can finish watching the video. Previous day's high, previous day's low, previous day's low. We got the previous day's high right up here. Just like, don't know why it's not doing it. Previous day's high. We're going to mark up the previous Asian session range also. So from 18 o'clock all the way until 12 a.m. Draw this all the way down like this. And that's the main reason why I like to trade these two pairs, is because they both move very similar. So the one thing I've noticed is if, say, I'm overall expected price to be bullish, is 8:30 to 9 o'clock in the morning, I'm looking for a trade, I know I'm bullish, more than likely, if I see US30 having a drop and NAS is still consolidating, say NAS is still consolidating up here, is consolidating, I know that there's a high chance that since US30 moved first, or say for example if NAS moved first, NAS100 moves first, I know that there's a high chance that the other pair will follow after. So it gives me a little bit of an insight. So if I see US30 is falling, looking for a possible retracement, going into a high high volatile time, and then I see NAS100 has the very same structure but hasn't dropped yet and it's consolidating, that's going to give me an extra confluence that I can then look to take a short in that time period, because both of these pairs move very similarly. Like if you go back and forth, you can see, just look at the structure. Hold on, look at the structure between the two. They're not identical. Here, I'm gonna do it right when I get all the markups first. Then I'll show you guys. So we got the previous day's high, previous day's low, the Asian session range. Now we're gonna look for a price point that price is likely to have a potential move. So we're gonna draw it from this previous day's low to this previous day's high. Same thing as NAS100. And you can see here, it is a little bit different. The 38.20% is a little bit more influenced with this Asian session. So at that point, now let me get the 50% of the Asian session to see how close these confluences are. So the 50% is right here. So ideally in this ideal area is going to be a potential trade. Now let's take a step further. We have 34,200 right here. We have 34,800 right above here. Then we have 34,000 right in here, and then 33,800 right in here. I'm also going to put 34,400 just because this is in confluence with the Asian session high. But more than likely, something I'm going to be anticipating is something very similar to what happened on NAS100. I'm going to be anticipating a potential retracement to, in this point, 34,400 is looking like the more ideal area where I would get a retracement to. Why? Because we have the 38.20% in confluence with the Asian session high, in confluence with 34,400 big figure level. So that's something I'm going to be anticipating. Now let me show you how these pairs are looking very similar. Look back and forth. I'm gonna reset, draw it down a little bit, and just move over. Go over here, do the same thing. Reset, draw it down a little bit, move it over. And look at how similar they look. Back and forth. Look how similar. Now we're gonna go to the higher time frames, just like we did on NAS100. See if there's anywhere in here that price could potentially have this retracement from, and we see something very similar. Once again, we have this area right in here where price is likely to potentially have a retracement from this area. Why? Because this is a higher time frame area of point of interest. So it's very similar to NAS100. Very similar things. And at this point, we are trading in the 50% of this area. So in the 50% of this overall bearish order block, that is where price is currently rejecting and trading at. So that even gives us a higher confluence on why we're expecting price to drop. Over here, price is trading right at the low of it. Over here, price is trading right at the midpoint of it. So either way, price is showing us that there's going to be a potential reason to see price come a little bit lower. Now, where are these price areas? Right down here is going to be 34,330. That's going to be an ideal area, and the target for this week is ideally going to be 35,000. That's ideally where I would want to see price target this week. Once we can get to 35,000, I think that would be a good area to start reevaluating and just re-evaluating what's overall going to happen in the market. Now let's look at NAS100. An ideal area I'm going to be targeting is going to be 14,200, and an ideal target after we hit there is going to probably be around 14,800 in my opinion. That will be a good area to reach for going into this week. Hold on, make this good. That would be a good area to reach for going into this week based off higher time frames. But overall, like I said, we're overall going to be bullish. I am keeping in mind that we did clear all these lows and everything going into the end of the week. So in my opinion, I want to see price continue moving higher after clearing all this sell side liquidity. We already cleared all this buy side, all this buy side. The next area I want to target is going to be above these highs right above here. This is going to be the next liquidity target that I'm going to have. Ooh, didn't mean to move that. Right up there. And then after we clear this high, more than likely 14,800 is going to be the next target that price is going to be reaching for. So this is my analysis. I'm going to be pretty much bullish this week going into both of these pairs. I don't really see any reason for me not to be bullish. Same thing right over here. I'm going to ideally be targeting these highs up here, and ideally once we get to 34,800 and start passing that, we'll be clearing majority of this liquidity. So from that point, we're gonna just have to be careful and watch what price does. But from there, we're only gonna be around 200 points away from the target of 35,000. So at the end of the day, we're gonna just wait and see what happens. The only thing we can do is just have a highly educated hypothesis on basically what we're anticipating, because at the end of the day, we're not predicting what's going to happen. We're anticipating what is more likely to happen based off of higher probability confirmations, and that's really all we're doing. We're just building a story around the price action that we have. So on that note, this is going to be my analysis on US30 and NAS100 coming into this upcoming week. So if you found this video helpful, if you found this video was able to give you a little bit of an insight on how I personally view the market, then make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And on that note, make sure you stay motivated by the fear of being average, and I'll see you guys tomorrow morning for a live session, and I'll see you guys later.